As a tech enthusiast, I try different things to get the experience of the diversity of the tech world. But this time, I took the shot to use a Radeon GPU as my gaming, editing, and even AI GPU. Yeah, that last one was pretty rough, but still, in this video, I'll share my experience with you guys as a Radeon user. And don't ask this stupid question of which GPU I'm using, you can already see that in the screen. So, hit the intro editor.
Bruh.
This particular model that I'm using is the Powercolor Hellhound Radeon RX 7800 XT, which has some serious overclocking potential, which I'll get into a moment. But unfortunately, I can't show you any unboxing video, but it won't be anything interesting because there isn't any unboxing treat like we'll see on other cards like the Red Devil or the Nitro Plus from Sapphire. Though, this approach actually keeps the cost of the card down, but that didn't help me to get this card at a cheap price, partly because of our shitty domestic market and also the international pricing. But 600 cappuccinos aren't a bad ask for this gaming and editing card. However, looking to the card itself, which is huge for me because I only saw a huge 5080 only for once in my life. Okay, back to the main topic. Those fans look really cool, and the backplate is made out of metal component. It has a lit switch and a dual BIOS switch, fits well in my ATX fixed tank case, and I really don't have anything else to say, but the card itself looks really decent. And now moving on to the next part. So, after installing the card, I also got a GPU sag bracket for 1000 VDT to support the card and enhance the looks of the PC. Then I installed the latest drivers, and yes, before installing the drivers, I used DDU to uninstall anything that was previously present. And the first impressions are really positive. It was really stable, and I was able to use this card for almost 4 months without any major issues, except for a few minor crashes, like maybe 2 or 3 times since I bought this card. Yep. Only 2 to 3 times of minor crashes on this almost 4-month time frame. My video editor is barely crashing, though I use DaVinci, which is already really stable by itself compared to Premiere Pro. But still, I'll give the driver stability a pass. But the thing that really impresses me the most is the Adrenaline software, and I'm just loving it. It's an all-in-one package with all the GPU settings you need. So it's definitely better than the GeForce Now and Nvidia control panel.
But what about the Nvidia app?
Oh, shut up, I'm spreading Radeon propaganda here. But where was I? Oh, anyways, you can tune, overclock, change fan speed, record, enable or disable features through the Adrenaline software. Even the gameplay records you guys are watching are recorded with Adrenaline. And login isn't necessary for all of these things that I just said. All of this actually feels really good to have in just one single software. Props to AMD for that. Now, for some gaming performance measuring. And as far as I'm lazy, I'll use my previous benchmarking data with a small addition of 1% low frame rates. So, starting off with Halo Infinite, with 1440p medium, we got 130 to 150 FPS on average, and 110 to 120 FPS in 1% lows. And moving on to CS2, an esports title, it got around 332 FPS on average and rarely dropping below 200 in medium settings with high shadows and low shaders. And the 1% lows are around 150 FPS and sometimes going over 160. In Forza Horizon 3, I got around 160 to 190 FPS at daytime and slightly lower in city areas, and over 200 FPS at nighttime. And the 1% lows usually sits around 90 FPS. While editing this video, I also thought to edit another game, which is a bit more CPU intensive, so still, it's okay. And it's Valorant. And yeah, I started playing Valorant like a few days ago. Anyways, the result of this game is like pretty optimistic, because I actually have a relatively high spec, so it should run easily. And the average FPS is well over 400, but it really depends on the map. But most of the time, it's over 400. And the 1% lows are like around 200, also depends on the map. And the test was done at 1440p medium, no stretch resolution, and most of the effects were on, and no MSAA. These are the 3 modern-ish games that I tested, and for now I'm regularly playing CS2 and Forza Horizon 3. But most of the time I play older games like Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Need for Speed Carbon, etc, etc. and the FPS of those games are limited by their engine, so it's almost pointless to show them. Okay, so the performance is decent, but what about the stability when I'm playing games? The stability is also rock solid and it barely crashes unless I am experimenting with my RAM timings. But that's not the fault of the GPU. So in short, except those previous crashes that I mentioned, which all happened like a few months ago in CS2, everything else is rock solid. But how about the AI and video editing performance? Well, video editing is superb in my honest opinion, but AI performance is mid at best. But as far as generating AI slops are a secondary thing for me, I'm fine with the mid-level performance that I get. I tried Stable Diffusion XT in Creta to generate 1440p images, and it took like a couple of minutes, maybe. I didn't measure the time properly, so take this result with a pinch of salt. Other than that, I don't use AI that much, except like removing the background noise from this recording with AI, but the fact is I use my CPU to remove the background voice because the AI model doesn't support either Nvidia or AMD GPU. So I don't use much about AI, but sometimes I use, but that doesn't need like a RTX 4090 level performance, so it's fine for me. Real quick, if you're new to this channel and have come this far, then I appreciate your patience. So if you want this fellow tech tuber to get some attention, then please consider subscribing. I don't use AI to create voice or script. Thanks. Now, another point of this specific GPU is the overclocking potential, and man, this thing has some juice in it. This Powercolor Radeon RX 7800 XT has got an overkill cooling system which was basically made for the RX 7900 XT as far as I think, because both cards look very similar to each other. And the result of this overkill cooler? Really aggressive overclocking. After adjusting the fan curve, I overclocked the card's base and boost clock to 1850 MHz and 2.66 GHz respectively. And after overclocking, the only game I've compared is Forza Horizon 3 because it actually puts some pressure on the GPU. So this is the before overclocking and after overclocking results that I'm showing you on the screen.
After comparing the results, we can see an impressive improvement.
Edit. Photoretic and gaming perks here. The reason of the overclock performance improvement is most probably not the overclocking itself, but rather the increased power limit and a really aggressive fan curve with 0 RPM mode disabled. So yeah, real world gaming doesn't benefit from the OC, probably. But it's still nice to see such a beefy cooler in a mid-range graphics card. It actually helps the GPU to stay cool, and it's really cool even at like 30% fan speeds. So, do I recommend this card? Absolutely. Driver stability, excellent gaming performance, decent video editing performance makes it a really appealing card for those who actually want a gaming card that can support their video editing projects without breaking their bank. So in the end, the money was worth it, and yeah, that's the end. So if you want to watch more, check out the unheard version of Windows that I tried, and till then, peace.